By Azura, by Azura, by Azura!
I can't shake this feeling that... Sorry, excuse me. I meant to say I can't shake this feeling that I have been gifted some...
Oh, great and mighty Grand Champion?
Aggressively positive presence by the powers that be. You know, for all that I have accomplished to this point in my life. And while I appreciate the...
Can I carry your weapon? Shine your boot?
While I appreciate the gesture, I am definitely starting to find it a little bit annoying, man.
I'm going to follow you and watch you and...
Alright, enough of this. Who is this? What do you want?
Wow.
You're the Grand Champion. I saw your fight against the Grey Prince. You're the best.
Ugh, never mind. It's just the adoring fan again.
God, forgive me.
Well, hell, while I have him here hog-tied in my garage, why not make a little video about him? I mean, he is, after all, one of the most irritating and notorious video game NPCs to ever exist. An absolute tumor of a wood elf that I happen to love with all of my heart and soul. I mean, how on earth could a character in a huge, epic fantasy video game with literally 6 lines of dialogue, total, become one of the most iconic faces from the entire adventure that is Oblivion? I mean, I bet if you polled everyone who has played this game to list the 5 most recognizable characters from the entire experience, this guy might be making that final cut. A literal punching bag, a farthead idiot stinker that wants nothing more than to shine your shoes and simply follow you around until the day that he dies. And he will die, believe me.
I won't get in the way.
Well then, I guess we gather here today to learn everything that there is to know about the adoring fan from Oblivion. The design, the function, the memes, and even the theories surrounding such a dingus of a character. Well, as usual, I am Ghost, your host, and if you enjoy video game lore, character analysis, game reviews, and other things like that, you are in the right place, my friend. So, without further ado, let us begin. Video games are things that put the players in the driver's seat of various power fantasies. It's a medium that allows us to do incredible things. Save the world, destroy the world, solve crimes, go to other planets, you name it, there is likely a game that will let you do it. So for years now, developers have been attempting to come up with ways, big and small, especially in RPGs, for you to really feel the impact of all of these amazing things that you are able to accomplish. Now remember that in so many of these adventures, you are starting out as an average boob, a nobody, but by game's end are often ascending to godhood, taking over an empire, or having some other profound effect on the world. And we as players want to feel that evolution, that change. Well, when The Elder Scrolls Oblivion was coming along in the mid-2000s, a lot was expected of it. It was seen as the next great thing to revolutionize the genre and be the launching point for the next generation of RPGs. One of the things that was promised to us was that kind of impact we are talking about being really felt. You were to play as the champion of Cyrodiil, saving the world from the Oblivion crisis and helping the lost heir of the Imperial throne find his destiny. Sounds like some pretty important shit. Now, how well they executed us feeling that impact is up for debate. I mean, in some ways, I do feel very important when I play Oblivion, and in many others, not at all. But of course, this is an open world game, and there are numerous activities for you to participate in and various social ladders to climb. Guilds and factions, many of them with awesome writing and immersive storylines. But one thread that will be advertised to you pretty early on is the opportunity to compete in the arena. I remember as a kid, this seemed like the coolest thing ever. A gladiator, like Roman Colosseum type questline, a place for me to test my strength, my skill against all these heroes and champions of the past as I work my way up to being the new champion. And enlisting is about as easy as it sounds. You show up and join the fight. It's got a nice little questline, interesting small pool of characters, really nice flavor stuff like the Red Room, a place below the arena where the blood from the fight seep into the walls. It's just good shit. I like it. Well, as you progress and make your way up the ranks, you will at last face the grand champion of the arena, the Grey Prince. A very interesting orc in his own right with a little quest attached. He's like half orc, half imperial vampire or some crazy shit like that. Very unique. But anyway, kicking his ass will finally have you, the player, sitting atop the arena totem pole. You are now the Grand Champion, and it was no easy feat. You now have the honor of holding weekly fights in your name against various creatures to earn tons of gold and further your legend. So really, all in all, it's a nice quest line, and we feel that impact that we've been talking about. But hold on a second.
By Azura, by Azura, by Azura! It's the Grand Champion! I can't believe it's you standing here next to me.
Okay, so I have several questions. My first one being, who the hell is this kid? I mean, the hefty majority of the NPCs in this game have proper names, even if they have little to no significance to you or the game overall. But this lad is simply called the Adoring Fan. His true identity is unknown and apparently completely irrelevant. He has burned and buried his prior life in service of the player and functions in-game essentially as a beacon of unwavering worship. But, I mean, if you're meant to be a sort of arena celebrity here in the Imperial City, surely some commoners just like this will have come around to like watching you fight. Maybe even some of them formed a little bit of a fan club, a Facebook group. I mean, you got it all. And I believe the first time you see the Adoring Fan, it is meant to be nothing but pure humor. I mean, look at him.
Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
He looks like Super Saiyan Jimmy Neutron. And the simple fact that he is a short little Bosmer goes back to all the old Elder Scrolls stereotypes about these guys being absolute goobers. Lame little potato eaters that breathe through their mouths and have little to no social skills. But also, as we have established, the Adoring Fan is here to show you that the game world has noted your achievements. You have done something very difficult, earned a higher status in the world, and thus, you have rightfully earned a superfan who worships the very ground you occupy. And this is a little more outside of the game, but it also turns the tables on us fans. I mean, I bet the developers who created this character are on our end of this interaction very often. Crazy-ass fanboys that may act something just like this. Who knows, maybe the whole thing is like a big inside joke, and this guy is based on some person that Todd Howard met at a convention or something.
That most of you came here for one thing.
But once you meet him and you acclimate yourself with his unique aura, it seems that he is a little bit more than meets the eye. I mean, this could have easily been a short interaction to wrap up the arena quests, and then you vamoose to the next thing. But no, he is much more ballsy than that, because he wants to accompany you.
Can I follow you around? I won't get in the way.
I'm sorry, what? You want to come with me? Like into battle? Do you understand the shit that I'm doing, you little cheesehead? Oblivion Gates, Daedra, bandits, wolves, etc. and so on? And you want to come with me to do that? What will you be doing exactly? I mean, this seems fucking hilarious. Usually followers are hardened warriors or characters of some note, but this little dude really seems like he's down to clown. Okay, I don't want to judge a book by its cover, so let's run the stats on this little runt.
Subject, the Adoring Fan. Race, Wood Elf. Class, Commoner. Level, Character -6. Health, not very much. Magic up even less. Armor, green t-shirt. Weapon, steel dagger. Conclusion, he is a big bitch.
Well, he doesn't seem to be very promising as a follower, that's for damn sure. And although he has a dagger, when trouble is afoot and combat kind of pops off, he is about as useless as you can possibly imagine, and will almost never actually engage in a fight. The limp little noodle. I mean, this seems like, hey, what the hell? I mean, it would have been enough for the fan to maybe follow you around the city like a puppy dog, and then await your return when you head out for the next adventure. But no, he is so obsessed with you that he is willing to risk life and limb simply to be close to you. Now that is devotion. That is love that you cannot buy, only earned by killing a poor sad orc prince. So why then? Why can he even be a follower? Well, I think it's to annoy you, and also to bring some chuckles to your time in Cyrodiil. Now, if you'll remember in my Maik the Liar video, we learned about his comment where he says that he's glad the game is single player, because if it was multiplayer, he would get annoyed by companions that talk too much and annoy him. And in that video also, I said that the Adoring Fan is likely part of that reference, that kind of joke. There was so much talk prior to the game releasing of potentially having a multiplayer function added to the series at last. I mean, it was long rumored for Morrowind even, but was never meant to be. So to me, honestly, the Adoring Fan has always felt like a symbol of how having a companion can be the worst thing ever. He never shuts up, he's useless, he looks like a toddler, he's just the perfect annoying sidekick to kind of complete that little gag. Now maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's what I do, baby. And regardless of the truth about his design intention, he certainly has made waves across the fandom from 2006 to today. But most of all, he has become the subject of a certain type of sport. Some may call it a blood sport. So I now have to bring your attention to an incredible YouTube user known as Zarf. In 2006, he uploaded what I still remember to be one of the first videos I ever watched on this site, and it is simply titled, The Adoring Fan at Dive Rock. You know, the tallest point in all of Cyrodiil. And what follows is around 14 total pixels attempting to communicate to you that you are witnessing the end of the Adoring Fan's cute little life. And it is simply incredible, man. The directing, the music. But what is even more impressive is 10 years later in 2016, Zarf uploaded the Todd Howard Anniversary Edition, the director's cut, and these, to this day, are the only 2 videos on Zarf's channel. What an absolute legend. But to my knowledge, he was one of the first to kind of start this trend on YouTube anyway. Soon the internet was aglow with the blonde swirl sailing off into the distance, or the poor bastard being crushed, stabbed, poisoned, etc. Death was the only requirement. And I believe a contributing factor to the popularity of killing the fan and recording it is that he is the only NPC in the entire game that will actually respawn as if nothing had happened at all, just 3 days or less in-game. And if he died while following you, he will just come find you again, across time and space, not missing a step, just to be killed all over again. I mean, it is nearly impossible to actually get rid of the Adoring Fan. It's hilarious. His undying love staving off eternal damnation to once again be abused at your side. He really is a lovable sort, annoying as he is, and you can't deny he is the biggest fan of the arena ever. But that then begs the question, if you really wanted to eliminate him, how do you do it? I mean, for all the funny stuff, I'm sure many people, just because they were interested, bent the game to its limits trying to get rid of him. Well, the most effective way is possibly the most cruel thing you can do in all of Oblivion. Take him with you on a little adventure into an Oblivion gate and run as far ahead of him as you possibly can. Get him stuck on some terrain or something, engage in a fight so he flees in terror. Then just speed run to the Sigil Stone, close the gate, and congratulations. You asshole, you have left your biggest fan, lover of your achievements, and servant to your legend behind in the Deadlands of Oblivion forever. Now technically I think this is a glitch, but there is absolutely no way to reverse it. When he's left behind in Oblivion, he is gone for good. So okay, I think we have a pretty clear picture of this character and what players decided to do with him to entertain themselves. Overall, just a simple little joke Bosmer that turned into an international pastime. But of course, where there is Elder Scrolls, there is lore, and people try to justify these characters within the game world constantly. And there are the funny surface level theories like the fan is the Jesus Christ of Tamriel because he keeps rising after a few days, or that he is a dragonborn and is vital to the prophecies of the world, so the divines keep bringing him back over and over again. But probably the most popular one that you can find online is that Cicero, the crazy jester from Skyrim, is the Adoring Fan.
What?
This all started because there's an entry in Cicero's journal that states he posed as a starstruck fan to complete the arena contract, slashing the champion's throat in the forest and leaving his corpse for the bears. But I'm sorry to burst your bubble. This entry is dated 4th Era 187, and Oblivion takes place literally hundreds of years before that in the 3rd Era. Not to mention, Cicero is an Imperial and looks far, far too normal, and this is most likely just a little shout-out Easter egg thing to the Adoring Fan. However, put your tinfoil hats on. Many people over the years have pointed out that these two could be considered two sides of the very same coin. Now, if you buy into the Adoring Fan being representative of the overly happy, chipper, irritating, and enthusiastic Elder Scrolls fanboys, then Cicero could be showing the darker side of the fandom. Now this of course is a whole other character, but in Skyrim, Cicero comes searching for the Dark Brotherhood and finds out how much they have changed over time, and he is incredibly toxic about it, just like the group of fans that have been kind of pissed about how the games have changed over the years. Again, reading a little too much into it? Yes, possibly, absolutely, but it's fun to think about regardless, okay? And one last thing that fans have kind of latched onto over time is the fact that he says, "By Azura." I mean, this is a Bosmer. Most Bosmer are worshipping a being known as Ifri? Well, Ifri?
Jeffrey?
And show love to the Altmeri Aedra, not some Daedric prince of dusk and dawn in the middle of a Daedric invasion. I mean, this has got to be the most volatile time period in the history of Tamriel to throw Daedric princes' names around willy-nilly. But if you ask me, this is another nothing burger. I mean, I'm not religious at all, but when I stub my toe, I might belt out a Jesus Christ or two, and I think By Azura is simply like a common phrase, kind of meant to mean, wow, look at my luck, or what good fate I have. That's it. But as this character became more popular and hilarious over time, he has continued to show up in other Elder Scrolls properties. The Elder Scrolls card game features him as his very own card, and has absolutely incredible stats and effect for who he is. 0 power, 1 health, comes back to life when killed, and is immune to silence. Hilarious and absolutely perfect. Then in the Elder Scrolls Online, he has a spectacular shout out in the form of a Bosmer NPC that's original, known as the Adoring Admirer. In the Blackwood region, you can find him extremely excited to see you, and you kind of send him off to be a part of the quest, but each time afterward that you interact with him, he's more and more beat up. First he has an eye patch, then he's like more banged up, and then he just looks pale and like shit, until eventually he's just dead, and he thanks you for allowing him to live the life and die the death he always dreamt about. I mean, overall, of course, this is a simple little character. As I mentioned, just 6 lines of dialogue. 6! But he is just the most recent proof in the NPCpedia that the enduring characters are almost never going to be the ones that we expect. It's always the strange little ones, the funny, the weird, the offensive, the annoying. These end up being the lifeblood of the longevity of the video games that we play. I mean, not everyone can be a hero or a villain, right? And at this point, the adoring fan is more like a cult leader on the internet. So no matter what you think about him, if you love him, hate him, kill him, ignore him, he is one of the ways that Bethesda wanted you to feel your impact on the world. And the adoring fan will always be waiting for his grand champion to return, waiting to get a tiny whiff of the glory, adventure, and status that the main character takes for granted, waiting for his hero, you. Thanks so much for watching this short, kind of goofy NPCpedia entry, everyone. This was actually strangely the first video idea I ever had, long before I even started the channel. And I joked a long time ago that it would be titled Godpedia, the adoring fan, so sorry for dropping the ball on that. But I hope you still enjoyed it. And I think honestly, that is enough Elder Scrolls NPCs, at least for the time being. We really need to populate this series with a more diverse array of characters, man. So please, suggest some down below. Shout out to the patrons, as always, who support me directly. And until next time, peace.
Person for a guy like me, and your eyes are shiny like you don't see. I wish you could be mine for eternity.